was one other thing too that it's slipping my mind now.
Oh, I bet I know what it is.
What
It's
was it?
it's where Jermaine randomly announced she was pregnant.
No. No, that is not my other news topic. Hello and welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen, Dorian Rose. Just like every week, man. Are you doing good?
As always. Hey, I made sure I didn't say it this time. Obviously, you led me into it, but good as always. Coming off this past weekend, decent night of fights overall. But no fights this weekend though. So I mean, I've been pumped since football season's been back, but I have been better on my fighting gambling than I have been my football gambling. So on that aspect, I'm definitely sad that there's no fights this weekend.
That's good. That's good. Well, yeah, indeed. I also forgot fucking last week that there was no fights, and then I guess it was midway through the fights, and they're like on October 1st. I was like, oh shit, I guess we're gonna fucking miss a week of fights. So yeah, no fights this upcoming weekend, but we are going to talk about this past weekend's fights and just give you some fight news, fight announcements, anything like that. Rather short show today, but let's get into it. Before we get started, though, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you could split that like button's head open in the first round and then completely gas out and then let the like button come back and finish you off round two, that'd be fantastic. Subscribe if you are not. Comments are always appreciated down below. Let's get into it, man. So first topic on today's show, this past weekend's fights, dude. Corey Sandhagen versus Song Yadong was the main event, but we actually had four different picks, but we only count three of them into our weekly pick champ. But let's just go down the results real quick. I'll give you prelims to main event, the results, and then we'll start talking about it from there. So just up first, Nicholas Moda versus Cameron Van Camp. Me and Dorian were both on Cameron Van Camp here, man, and we were wrong indeed. Tony Gravely versus Javid Basharat. Dude, I said it in the beginning. I'm going to be rooting for Tony Gravely, but Javid's probably going to get it done. Dorian actually picked Tony Gravely there. I picked Javid Basharat. Javid Basharat gets the third round decision. One we were both wrong on here. I thought you were going to pick against her, and you still picked with me here. Maria Agapova taking on Jillian Robinson. And dude, we'll talk about it, but Robinson was getting pounded on round one, comes back to get the second round submission. Trey Ogden versus Daniel Zellhuber, one that I wasn't really familiar with either one of them, but Trey Ogden ends up getting the decision there. One that I believe we were both wrong on. Again, Loma Lukebumi taking on Denise Gomes. Loma Lukebumi just seems to be the more veteran savvy. Trevin Giles taking on Luis Koski, bro, this shit was boring as hell. I'm not even gonna lie. That fight sucked. But Trevin Giles does indeed get the third round decision. Damon Jackson, Action Jackson for the night, not the leech for the night, but he will return to the leech. Gets Pat Sabatini out of there early, round one. Knockout, man. So I guess those were the prelims. So let's move on to the main event and let's get our picks really underway. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez gets the third round sub over Mark Andre Barrio. Our first different pick that we actually picked on, I did pick Tanner Boser here, taking on Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira. Dude, I'm not going to say I thought Tanner Boser should have won that fight, but 30-27 was like one of the fucking scorecards. And I was like, bro, he fucking stumbled the big guy. But Rodrigo does get that third round decision. B. Joe Pfeiffer from Dana White Contender Series. Joe Pfeiffer taking on Alan Omadovsky. We both called this correct. Joe Pfeiffer does get that decision. I'm not sure if we threw this one in there. Do we throw the Andre Fili versus the Bill Algeo out for some reason, or did we just have
Yeah,
Bill
it would
Algeo.
neither one of we both picked Bill Algeo, but I don't think
Okay.
either of us felt good about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But Andre Feely did get like third down decision, dude. And we'll also fucking jump into this one here in a second too. But for some reason, even after the fight, I was like, oh, fucking Algeo won that fight. But I guess Andre Feely won that fight, dude. Rather close overall, if you ask me. But moving on to the two different ones that we did pick on. Right now, you are up one. You did pick Rodrigo Nascimento over Tanner Boser. This one right here. And if you understood the like button reference at the beginning of the show, it was about this fight right here. Chidi Njokuani taking on Gregory Rodriguez. I don't even know which one it is at this point. He's Brazilian, but it's an R. Dude, crazy back and forth, but Rodriguez gets the second round TKO. And then so I did pick correct in that one. So we are tied right now. And then we did pick different on the main event. Corey Sandhagen taking on Song Yadong. Bro, it went pretty much exactly how I thought it was going to go. But if you ask me, Song Yadong did impress. Corey Sandhagen gets the doctor stoppage at the end of the fourth round via cut. So score for the week is 2-1. I am, and still, dude, pick champ of the week, dude. At this point, I wasn't even excited last week, but at this point, it's like, goddamn. Let me tell you exactly how long it's been. Just because I don't want to get
Nobody
it,
cares.
I don't want to get it wrong. I've had this
Uh,
belt for 6 weeks in total now. That's 5 fight weeks because we did have a bye week. And just the heads up, we got another bye week right at this next one. So the next time Dorian has a chance to win this here pick champ back is after 7 weeks of me having this damn belt. So he's gonna say I felt bad for you for this long and this and this and this, bro. Bro, I don't even know what to say. I think at this point, like I have to purposely make bad picks to get rid of this thing to give it back to you. But I'm not going to make it that easy. You're going to have to take it. So next week, dude, you'll have a chance to win it back. But I am, and still this week, not defending, but I am reigning. So that's the fights. That is the pick champion, dude. So let's talk about the fights for just a second. We'll start right here at the main event. Corey Sandhagen versus Song Yadong. I kind of alluded to it. I pretty much thought this went how it was going to go. If you ask me, I thought it probably would have went to decision, but I wasn't confident enough because we haven't seen Song in a 5-round fight. So I was like, in all my parlays, all my bets, I picked Corey Sandhagen in 4-5 or decision because I haven't seen Song past round 3. And dude, luckily that played out in my favor. Anything from the fight, just the nasty cuts overall, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance from Sandhagen. I thought that he was really able to kind of mix everything up really well. He every single time Song would try to step forward to him, uh, Corey would implement a takedown, and even if he didn't get the takedown, it was more just to kind of keep the pressure of Song off of him. And what I was more surprised of, especially with Song coming from Team Alpha Male, is that he wasn't the one implementing the wrestling, and he's a pretty decent wrestler. Although we do know him for the devastating boxing. He's a pretty explosive wrestler, and he seemed to never really use it. And maybe it was because he wanted to try to pace himself over 5 rounds. And here's the interesting part about it. And maybe you can say whatever you want about what you thought the fight was scored, but the fight was actually 2-2 on all three judges' scorecards going into that fifth round. So I know that it might have felt like Sandhagen was winning, but Song was holding his own and was tied up 2-2 going into that fifth round. I think that Corey, he was throwing the slick lead elbows and he ended up getting that big cut on Song Yadong. But I still think there's something almost lacking in his game that the judges don't give him enough credit for. Maybe it's the power, maybe it's his counter ability, or maybe it's just the pop shots that he has on his jabs aren't that devastating. But seems like he doesn't get the judges' favors, but it was a good thing that he ended up taking it out of the judges' hands because he was able to slice up Song Yadong with them nasty elbows. And he hit him with a couple of them early in the fight. And that cut ended up getting opened up pretty decently. But as the fight went on, Sandhagen hit him with a bunch more elbows, hit him with a couple good crosses, and really split that eye open. And going into that fifth round, after Sandhagen had Song on the ground, he got all that blood in his eye, dude. And yeah, Song even said at the beginning of the fifth he couldn't see because he had so much blood in his eye, and they had to call the fight. But it was a great performance from Corey Sandhagen and a good bounce back for him. I can't hear you.
I guess I accidentally muted my mic just now, looking to move it closer to me. Are you surprised that like the doctor let it go on that long?
No, because I noticed even in the co-main event, and we'll get into it, but the doctor kept putting it back on the ref to say, "Hey, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it." He wouldn't explicitly say, "Hey, this fight needs to be stopped." He kept putting it on the ref, and especially like in the main event, I don't think Herb Dean wanted to necessarily step in and stop the fight due to a cut until it got to the point to where he had to step in and say something.
Yeah, his eyebrow was literally almost hanging off at that point. Like that cut was, dude. There were two nasty cuts, so that was one of them. Anything else on this fight before we get into this next one, dude?
I just think for Song, because I'm a Song fan, but dude, he's only what 24, 25 years old. He showed good fight in that fight this past weekend, and I think he's going to be back at the top soon. Give him a couple fights to get kind of acclimated a little bit more, maybe to that 5-round main event. But I think he'll be back stronger than ever too.
I think probably match up Song with Sandhagen with Cheeto, Song with who did I don't want to see Song against Dom Cruz though. Maybe
No, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I've already seen the alpha male Dominic Cruz storyline get played out plenty of times. I mean, there's plenty of killer matchups in that division. I mean, you can maybe even say Pedro Munoz or somebody like that.
Pedro Munoz.
I think, I mean, I think a Pedro Munoz fight would be pretty good for him. And both those guys are definitely willing to bang it out. So, Song's in a good position to where even though he's young and even though he's got this loss, he's young and he's still going to be able to bounce back. But Corey just showed that he's on another level right now.
Indeed, man, indeed. So let's get into this next cut, man. Round one, Chidi is touching Gregory up, dude, but at the same time, it's like Gregory is he's so damn tough. At one point, he goes for a takedown. Chidi throws a knee at the exact same time. And literally, what was the fight that I seen where like the dude got his skull crushed by like MVP with like the flying knee, dude?
It was Cyborg Santos
dude.
And Michael Venom Page.
It was literally almost that bad, dude. I'm surprised. Like, dude, Gregory is so fucking tough, dude. It surprised the hell out of me. He fought through having this giant gaping. It was like he just had one eyebrow from like one side of his face to the other. It was like he like literally had an old school mouse on his fucking forehead. It was like a T, and like an upside down T was on his fucking forehead right between his eyeballs. And then I'm not going to put it up on the screen or in the thumbnail because I've already seen a few people get their page taken down for fucking putting that picture up. Can you believe that? It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I can believe it because it's a pretty gnarly photo. You got to put up some type of discretion before you end up showing that. And even then, like it's gnarly, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, so his head is split open. Round two, it looks like Chidi. I mean, let me go back for just a second. The refs didn't even stop the fight. They put it on Herb Dean. But to be fair, I don't think it was impeding his vision or anything like that. As for like the Song one, it's like, bro, your eye, the blood is literally going right into your eyeball. As for like the Gregory one, it was like in the middle, like he could still see, but just the damage itself, dude. I'm surprised the doctor let that shit go on. Gregory's tough as all hell. Chidi pretty much gassed trying to finish Gregory round one and didn't get him out of there. And round two, He literally had nothing left in the tank. Just came out and was like, I don't even like remember like fucking round two. This is what it's like. This is what round two fucking seemed like to me. Like fucking Gregory came out, was like, "Hey, motherfucker, I'm still here," and like he's like, "Oh shit." He fucking throws like two punches, puts him right up against the fence, throws him down, throws a few ground and pounds, and then it's over. It's like Chidi literally had nothing left in the tank at all going in round two. I guess takeaway from this fight, man.
Yeah, I just that RoboCop. He's starting to become one of those mythical fighters, like like the prime Tony Ferguson, in shape Conor McGregor,
Tired
focus
Drickus.
Francis Ngannou. Yeah, tired Dricus, focus Justin Gaethje. Greg RoboCop is starting to become one of those mythical fighters that, dude, whenever he gets hit, it's like he just keeps coming. It's almost like if you had a power bar in UFC 4, when you get hit, you know how your power bar goes down? It's like his power bar goes up. Like whenever he gets hit, it's like when he gets hit, he just gains energy and it's like, oh yes, feed me more. And when Chitty hit him with that knee, I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be over. I thought he was going to hit him with a big right hand, drop him on the fence, and then get him out of there for the finish. Because, dude, do you realize that Jordan Williams, and I know it sounds crazy, Jordan Williams finished Gregory Rodriguez a couple years ago on the Contender Series. So me thinking in
The
my mind, I'm
Beverly
like,
Hills
man, if
Ninja, that guy, yeah.
yes, I'm like, dude, if
That
Jordan
he's
Williams
so
finished
like
Gregory
he's got no
Rodriguez,
chin. He's got no
yeah,
chin.
I was like, dude, if he finished Gregor Rodriguez, there's no way Chitty's not gonna be able to finish him. And going out there, and dude, he was not able to finish him, as you said, gave it his all after he ended up hitting him with that big knee there in the first round to get him out of there. Gregory Rodriguez still comes back and drops Chitty in the first round after he ended up getting that big cut on his head. It looked like a third eyeball was sitting on top of his forehead, dude. Like he looked like Tien from Dragon Ball Z with that big ass eye, like right above, like right on his forehead, right there, dude. It looked absolutely disgusting. But one that I won't pick against RoboCop again. Like I think that's two in a row that I've
After
picked
the
against him
Marquez
on.
one, dude, I was
Um,
like, not again, not again. I don't care who it is.
yeah,
He's so tough,
yeah,
dude.
no, I will not. And he's 30, which that's a damn lie,
Bullshit.
but he's 30. Yeah, it's a damn lie, but his listed age is 30, which is
I'll be,
absolutely nuts to think about.
I'll be 30 in a few months, dude. I feel like this dude looks like he's got like 10 years old.
At least, at least. But dude, he's an absolute savage though. So yeah, I'm not picking against RoboCop again for
you,
whatever circumstances. No
you
way.
can't, dude. You can't. Moving on down, dude. We did both pick this one incorrect. For some reason, I thought Andre like still lost the fight at the end, but Bill Algeo loses a third round decision to Andre Feely. What am I missing here, dude? Aside from he got hit with one head kick and kind of cut him open, but I don't really feel like Andre did much more than that the rest of the fight. What am I missing here?
Well, I thought that. I thought it was a close fight. I thought Feely won the first and the third. I thought Algio won the second. I thought the biggest thing that Feely was really able to do was he was kind of able to stay one step ahead of Bill Algio. Like Bill Algio would land a pretty big shot, and then as soon as he did, Andre Feely would immediately respond, big body kick or a big hook, big head kick, something like that. It's like he wouldn't let Algio establish the dominance in the round. As soon as he would land a shot on Feely, Feely would immediately respond. And I thought that he was kind of able to keep the pace and stay ahead of him for the first round. I thought the second round, Algio was able to kind of flip it around, and I thought he was getting pretty close to. I'm not going to say finishing Feely, but he landed some pretty big shots there. He landed a big head kick himself in the second round, but then I thought in the third round a little bit of the same thing. I just thought Feely kind of sensed that it was 1-1 going into that third, and I thought he just pushed the gas a little bit more and was able to get the win. I picked Algio to win, but I did think after the fight, because I had some money riding on Algio too. I was pretty disappointed to see that. I thought Algio lost going into the judge's decision though. So it was a really good fight for Feely.
Fair enough, dude. Dude, this fight did not help my confusion at all, dude. Bill Algeo fights the week after fucking Julian Erosa, and their fights are kind of the same, man. Like they're tough, they're in there, they're fucking throwing back and forth. They got pretty good striking, but they are kind of wild still at the same time, dude. Do you see why I get them confused so much?
They have a similar style too. So yeah, they have a similar like that kickboxing style, like that awkward kind of look to them, and they wear like the Muay Thai shorts too. So
And their
I
face
can
looks
I
exactly
can
the
see.
same. Their face looks the same. I don't know. I don't know what it is. That same like body style and everything. I don't know, dude. Moving on down, dude. B. Joe Pfeiffer. Joe Body Bags Pfeiffer took out Alan Almadovsky as expected, dude, in the first round via knockout. Did we expect anything less than this? UFC just brings Alan Almadovsky in there just to get crushed. For example, in his last fight against Ugly Man Joe, we all know Ugly Man Joe went to a decision and lost with Jamie Pickett, and we all know how I feel about Jamie Pickett. And then fucking Ugly Man Joe comes in there and crushes Alan Almadovsky rather quickly. So it was only in the cards. Joe Pfeiffer was going to knock Alan Almadovsky pretty much block off, knocked him down early, not early, knocked him down, and then he was like, "Are we fighting still?" And then Joe Pfeiffer just rammed one fucking clean through his head, dude. Fight was over. Your thoughts on the fight, dude?
I like Joe Pfeiffer for the division, man, because he's refreshing young talent, and I think that UFC kind of likes those homegrown talent guys coming off the Contender Series, and he kind of seems to have the Dana White cosign with Joe shouting out Dana at the end of the fight, saying, "Hey, he gave me some cash on the side." And gave me a place to stay. I'm sure that cash for the side comment, people who do Dana White's taxes probably aren't going to be happy with him openly saying that, hey, Dana just handed me some cash on the side. I'm sure that's probably something that he had to get filed with taxes. But no, I do think overall Joe Pfeiffer, just to keep it short, I do think that he's refreshing for the division, and I like the move that he said that he was going to do as well as trying to put a little bit more weight on. He does seem to be a little bit more linky, but I think, dude, with that type of power, I mean, he's knocking out 85ers pretty consistently. He's got a pretty good wrestling background from what I hear as well. He's definitely going to be a problem in the UFC once he starts getting some more fights under his belt and get a little bit more sized up for the division as well.
Inspiring people to be Joe Pfeiffer. Moving on down, dude. Tanner, the Bulldozer Bozer, taking on Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira. I don't know why I thought this was the guy that uh Alexander King Kong fucking like did like the forearm choke on. Why do I think it was that guy? Who was that guy?
It was a Brazilian guy.
A
Now
big
the
fat bald Brazilian guy. Because I
yeah,
fucking thought it was
yeah,
him. But it's not.
yeah. No, I
It
know
wasn't
exactly
him.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no,
it
no, I
wasn't
can't
him.
remember his name, but I know.
I get fighters confused so easily, dude. There's so many, and like they're in and out of the UFC. It's like a lot of them had the exact same face. For example, Jacob Malkoon and Curtis Blades, they had the same face. So you just head like neck up, they're the exact same. I promise. Tanner Bozer ends up losing via decision, dude. How'd you like that 30-27 scorecard? Because I feel like it was a little bullshit if you ask me. But Rodrigo should have got the first and the third overall.
Yeah, I thought it was honestly it's the only reason why I felt confident about picking against Tanner Bozer. I just felt like, especially it was he kind of showed traits of how he lost to Arlovsky. He just tends to be a step behind all the time. And he's got the explosive ability, and he's a lighter heavyweight as well. So it's not like he's coming in completely out of shape and overweight and everything. So you would think of him being a little bit lighter, he's going to have a speed advantage. And there at the end of the third round, after he had gotten taken down, he was able to get up and then put on a little bit of pressure there, the last 15 seconds. But at that point, it was too late in the fight. You've already lost too much of the fight to try to come back and gain it. And, you appreciate the effort there at the end to try to, maybe try to steal a win, or maybe he lands a knockout like Leon Edwards did. Who knows? But it just seems like he always ends up being a step behind. and then he always ends up getting behind on the scorecards, and it's too late for him. So I just thought it kind of played out how a Tanner Boser fight typically plays out. That he's got all the ability. He just tends to kind of lack the, I guess the push, the kind of push forward for more action.
I just wonder if he would be better served to go down to 205 because he was what, like two, like wasn't too heavy, maybe
Like
like
230 or something. Like
yeah.
he never walks in. He never comes in super heavy at heavyweight. So that's what's, I
And he's
guess
not like
that's what's kind of like
shredded,
weird with
so
me.
it's like
Yeah, no,
maybe
he's not.
try light heavyweight. You know, like maybe that would be better. 20-9, dude. Who knows? Got a lot of wins though. Moving on down, dude. Anthony Hernandez breaks the power bar. Known for having good stamina, dude. But Anthony Hernandez just made easy work of Mark Andre Barria. Had pretty much nothing for him. Dominant all the way until he got the sub in the third round. Anything from that fight?
Dude, just surprised at the evolution that Fluffy has made in his game. That he had went from kind of, I don't want to say like a brawling type striker, because he's always kind of had like the grappling in his back pocket, but he's definitely leaned on his wrestling a lot more in his last few fights, and he's been able to, even if he hadn't been able to get the submission win exactly, he's able to implement some good ground and pound, and he's able to get good position control. To where when he gets guys down, it's hard for them to get back up, and he doesn't look like, by the size of his frame, that he's going to be one of those guys that will hold somebody down. But he's definitely got that ability, some good ground and pound, and he's kind of really, kind of rounding out his game very, very well. So it's another good win for Fluffy. As he's, I don't want to say he's inexperienced. What has he got, about 10, 11 fights now or something like that? So he's still kind of relevant.
And one no
Yeah. So I
contest.
mean, so he's only got 13 professional fights. When he's putting together performances like that in the UFC, it's definitely promising for him for his future.
I think if you get the confidence boost of subbing Rodolfo Vieira, dude, I don't feel like, dude, like that's your new, like you're going to have no fear to go on the
You,
ground with anyone, dude. Like what are they going to do to you if the best jiu-jitsu player in the world can't like tap to you, dude? You got it. You got it. Shout out Fluffy, dude. Moving on down to the main event of the prelims, dude. Damon Action Jackson for the night. Usually the leech gets Pat Sabatini out of there round one. I don't know why I'm struggling with that name today. Early, was it a front kick that like rocked him early, and then he just kind of just fucking finished him off super quick from there. Takeaway from that fight?
Yeah, Damon Jackson. I mean, it was just a quick fight. He hit him with that front up kick, and it was like right as Pat Sabatini bent down to go for a takedown. I mean, it was almost, he pulled a U on UFC 4 where you bend down exactly into the shot, and Pat Sabatini bent down into that shot, ate the front kick head on, and Damon Jackson just put the pressure on him. Pat Sabatini went for a takedown. Damon Jackson sprawled, got top position, and just was relentless with that ground and pound until he ended up getting him out of there. And it was a good win for Damon Jackson too. They said that, I guess, the last week, going into the fight week, his brother had passed away unexpectedly, and he wasn't prepared for it. And I guess he had kind of been stoic all week. In regards to his emotions towards that. And after the fight, you could see all that emotion just be let out. And I really felt bad for him, but it was a great win for him to, put a feather in his cap on such a, getting the bad news at the beginning of the week to at the end of the week, pulling off a good win like that, getting a win bonus, and doing that for your brother. So I thought that was a cool moment and a great win from Damon Jackson.
Outside of the top five, was there anyone that beats him Saturday night?
Man, I mean, it's tough telling. You got that type of motivation, and really, I mean, we were talking about Damon Jackson going into this fight. I mean, I hit one of the parlays with him because we were both saying that, dude, he's been on a little bit of a high streak here as of late,
Spoiler,
and he
man.
is. Yeah, man, he's been spoiling a lot of up and comers as far as, they're trying to get their name off of Damon Jackson, and Damon Jackson has been having none of it. He had all that motivation going into Saturday, and you get to see it all manifest into the fight and got him out of there in less than a minute, too. A young rising prospect like Sabatini. So just goes to show what kind of level that Damon Jackson was on that night.
Yeah, dude. Just heartfelt. You just feel good that he can get the dub. Just get those emotions out, dude. Prayers to him, all of his family, all of that. Let's move on down to the next boring ass fight. Trevin Giles taking on Luis Koski, dude. Um, dude, I feel like Trevin Giles is so hesitant to getting knocked out now. It's like he's really at a distance. He's either in or out, dude. And it's like every time like a counter is coming, it's like he like over like reacts. Like he's like flinching, like, oh shit, like hope I don't get knocked out by this. And it kind of worries me. He's not as I don't want to say as reckless as he like used to be, but it's like he doesn't put himself in the danger that he needs to put himself into to get to finish like he used to. I guess thoughts on this fight besides, or do you think it was as boring as I thought it was?
Yeah, I do, but I think it was just partly because, as you stated, Trevin Giles' last couple fights hadn't gone too well for him. Been knocked out in his last two losses. That Drika's knockout, I know that was pretty unexpected because he was having some success in that fight, and Drika's just bounced off the cage and did that same rush that he hits a lot of dudes with and got him out of there. And then he ended up fighting a rising prospect in Michael Morales. So, I mean, you can't hold it against him for losing to Michael Morales, but at the same time, he's had some tough losses. So I could see why he would want to make sure he goes in there, doesn't take too much damage, and get the win to kind of start getting that confidence again. Confidence is one of the things you were talking about with Fluffy, being on the ground with Adolfo Vieira. I'm sure Trevin Giles has lost a lot of confidence in his last few fights because one of the things that he did rely on early in his UFC career was his chin. I remember in that James Krause fight, he was letting James Krause hit him, and even though James Krause took the fight on 48 hours notice, or whatever the case may be, he was letting James Krause hit him with clean shots, and he wasn't going down. Now he's been hit with a couple clean shots, so I think he's just trying to clean up his game a little bit and got a much needed win that he really needed to get to kind of keep his momentum in the right path.
Was this like the welterweight debut?
No, he fought Michael Morales.
Oh yeah. That was the
Yeah, he
welterweight.
fought Michael Morales
Dude,
at welterweight.
it blows my mind that Michael Morales fights at 170. I just thought that was at 185. Dude.
Yeah, well, and that was Trevin Giles' debut at 170 was against Michael Morales. So it's like, I mean, damn, dude. So I can understand why Trevin Giles would fight the way he did this past weekend to get the much needed dub.
Yeah, but not the best fight overall. Lomalu Boomy taking on Denise Gomes, dude. I thought Denise Gomes was going to look better. She did have a small size advantage, dude, but quickly into this fight, after I saw one front kick to the body and fucking like Denise Gomes go flying, I was like, oh, Loma's not losing this fight. It's like she's so sturdy, like on the bottom, dude. She's got great hips. Trouble taking her down for everyone. She's got great kicks, just a great Muay Thai style overall, dude. She is a problem. If you cannot get her to the ground, dude, good luck. Loma Lubimi gets the third round decision. Thoughts on this fight, man?
I just thought that we thought that Denise Gomes was going to be a little bit more fresher of the fighter, even though I think she was taking this fight on like pretty short notice,
But she
like
just
a couple
fought
weeks
on the
notice.
Contender Series, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it was like a couple weeks ago. She just fought in the Contender Series, but we were thinking that hey, she got a finish coming off that show. She had a lot of momentum going in, but I just thought that Luma really showed her just her veteran savvy, just being able to, as you said, really maintain the distance in the striking game. Was able to even get was it a takedown that she ended up getting in the third round? I know she had a lot of top control there in the third round there for a little bit as well.
I
Luma
think
did.
so.
Yeah, I believe she ended up getting. I remember she had a lot of top control, so I can't remember if it ended up being from a sprawl or whatever the case may be. But She had a lot of top control as well, just really able to implement her veteran savvy and was able to get a win as well, which it's kind of in and out in this fight. This fight didn't really entertain me that much as well, so I was like one eye here, one eye there, so I wouldn't completely lock in on this fight.
I got you, man. Moving on down, Trey Ogden, huge underdog over Daniel Zellhuber, dude. I really didn't really have an opinion on this fight. I left it up to you, but you said Daniel Zellhuber he's good, dude. And got to be honest, I threw him in a few parlays, and then watching the fight, I was like, well, lost this one. I guess talk to me just a little bit about this fight. Why did you think Daniel Zellhuber was going to, put it on Trey Ogden?
Well, really, I thought that Trey Ogden, he had kind of been brought in. I think, he had lost to Jordan Levitt. I think he was kind of brought in last second notice. So I didn't know if he was really of that UFC caliber. Where I'd seen Zellhuber, I believe he was on the Contender Series, and he has good striking, and you can see the striking. It was just that almost as if he would throw one big shot and would just kind of watch his work. He would throw like a really good body kick, and then he would just kind of sit there and watch his work and let Trey Ogden get off more shots. And I really think that's all it was into the fight was. It just seemed like it was almost like a sparring match for Zellhuber, and that he would kind of throw a shot and kind of sit there and watch everything. And Trey Ogden was just a step ahead of him the whole time. I thought the fight really came down to that for Trey Ogden to be able to get the win.
Fair enough, dude. So then moving on down to one that, dude, it kills me because I just want her to win so bad. Maria Agapova taking on Jillian Robertson. We did both pick Maria Agapova here. I did think that you were going to pick Jillian Robertson strictly for what happened in the fight. You know, that's her thing. Agapova gets choked out. That's her thing. Dude, but she choked her out unconscious, dude. She was like biting on her tongue, dude. It literally looked like she got like knocked out cold with like a Valentina head kick, dude. That's how her body looked, dude. She was stiff as a board, choked out. I guess talk to me. What happened here, man?
Yeah, so the only reason why I didn't feel comfortable picking Jillian Robertson is because Jillian Robertson is now 11-7. So, but she's been so up and down, and she's always been capable of getting the submission win. I believe they said going into the broadcast that she actually has the most finishes in strawweight history, which I had no idea about that stat going into it, but. She does get a lot of submission wins when you go back and kind of think about it. So it would make sense. But I thought that, she's been so up and down. It's hard to really trust her as far as a betting line. But Agapova, man, I just thought that, she does have the power and everything. But, man, if she doesn't go back and, like, work on her wrestling, I mean, it's like, dude, what is she going to do? Because it's like every time she gets taken down, I mean, she's ground beef every time, or she's going to get choked unconscious every time. So I know that's one that you've been excited about Agapova and everything, but I just haven't seen anything in her game yet to really get me that excited for her as far as moving forward in the division.
If you put her up against a person that's just going to throw paws with her, dude, I think it'll just be like a fun fight overall. The thing is, I don't think many females are going to do that when there's a clear path to victory just by a fucking rear naked choke. They're just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to work my wrestling this entire training camp. Go take her down, just fucking sub her real easy, dude. I don't know. Maybe she needs to go train with Izzy over at the fucking City Kickboxing. I feel like that'd be a good spot for her, dude. Train that takedown defense and,
Yeah, they have really good takedown defense and get ups. So I mean that would be a move for her because I mean she needs something with the takedown defense, dude. It's crazy.
For sure, dude. So moving on down, dude. I hate to say it, but we were rooting for Tony Gravely. I did pick against him though, our hometown guy. But dude, Javed Basharat, he didn't look as what do I say? He didn't look as flowing as he like fucking normally looked, but he still looked good overall, getting the just outclassing Tony Gravely for the most part. I don't really think it was a close fight. I thought fucking Javed won all 3 rounds, dude. I guess takeaway from this fight.
I actually, as to the contrary, I thought the fight was close, and it was 29-28, and I thought it was 1-1 going into the third. Now you can sense that in the second round, Jafar Basharat was starting to seize the momentum. But I thought in the first round, I thought that the reason why Basharat was kind of fighting, as you said, maybe not as flowy, was because I thought that Tony was doing a lot of really good work as far as getting in his face. He was throwing a lot of leg kicks, which I think was throwing Basharat off a little bit. He had a lot of leg kicks and he had a lot of good 1-2s that he was landing. I think the biggest thing for Tony is that he goes to his wrestling a little bit too much, and when he can't get the wrestling down, his arms start to get a little burned out, and you can see it in his fights. I thought that second round, I thought Tony got a little bit too aggressive with the takedown attempts, and Basharat was able to kind of fight off the takedown, get back into a standing position, and there in that third round, I thought that Basharat really started to flow a little bit. And I think it was toward the end of the round. He had thrown like a knee 1-2-3 combo, and he was looking really good there towards the end of the fight. So I thought towards the end, Basharat really showed kind of what you were talking about as far as the flow stage in his game, where he's just kind of just throwing shots and going. But I thought that he faced a little bit of adversity in the first round too with Tony Gravely with his fight style. But overall, just too big for Tony Gravely. I thought he was a little bit too quick, and just the cleaner striker overall, and a clean decision went for Javid Basharat.
He doesn't seem to have that many holes in his game, and I guess that's what is like. It's interesting to see like how good is this guy, because he's good on the ground, he's got good takedowns, he's clean on the feet, he has multiple subs. It's like, where's this guy bad at? I haven't seen it yet. He's now 13-0, dude. So interested to see where Javad Basharat goes. He said that he will be the champion within 2 years, dude. What do you think?
I mean, that's a very tough ask. I mean, that's in that 135 division. That's very
Not
tough.
even
So
ranked
I
right
don't know.
now. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if he'll get a title shot within 2 years, let alone be the champion. Just because at the top of that division, it's so freaking logjam full of talent. It's gonna be hard for a lot of those guys to get a title shot right now.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. So let's move on down to what fucked up all of my parlays, the majority of my parlays for the night. Nicholas Moda taking on Cameron Van Camp, the opening fight of the night. I thought Cameron Van Camp, I was like, Nicholas Moda ain't that good, but I guess we've only seen him at 170, and then this is Cameron Van Camp's first time down at lightweight, and he got knocked out by Andre Fiallo, but Andre Fiallo's he's got them paws on him. He's got the power, and he looked good against him though. But man, it's like, what happened? Did he like lose chin? I guess like the weight cut, dude, not good for Cameron Van Camp. If you ask me, I think he should go back up to welterweight. He looked better against a much better fighter, in my opinion, because I don't think Nicholas Moda is that good. He pretty much only has a left hook, and if you don't get hit by them, then you could probably win that fight. But he wins via left hook. Nicholas Moda knocks out Cameron Van Camp. Take away from the fight, and I guess how do you feel? Because we were both on Cameron Van Camp there.
Yeah. Well, I definitely liked him as far as his size and everything. Going down to the division. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't know too much about Nicholas Moda, so I didn't realize that he had that big of a left hand on him. Had I known that, I might have went Nicholas Moda. But Cameron Van Camp, he was such a big underdog going into the weekend as well. I think from a betting line, I think we both really liked
There
the
were a
line that
lot
he
of
had.
people on him too. Like I watched multiple betting shows, and like fucking Van Camp should be like the favorite because Moda isn't that good, and that was kind of the storyline. And then yeah,
Yeah, but I think like I said, I didn't really know too much about Moto, but I thought that Van Camp, I thought just due to his size that he'd be able to get it done, but Moto, just that big left hand man, was able to get him out of there, and definitely proved us wrong.
and our canceled fight of the night, Aspen Ladd misses weight again, dude, against Sarah McMahon. Thoughts on that, dude?
Dude, it's just crazy because I almost dropped my phone there, but no, I just crazy because Aspen Ladd, she was even saying going into the week, like, hey, I've got my weight cut down. It's better than ever. It's going to be easy to make this weight and everything. And all of a sudden, she comes in and she misses weight again. I mean, just a head scratcher at this point because she's completely undersized for 145. And you don't really have a 145 division for the UFC. So it's almost like you're kind of stuck in no man's land in terms of what to do with her next because she doesn't seem to be able to make 135 consistently.
Yeah, dude. She's in the same what's the word? Same boat as Macy Chasson, dude. Maybe they just make a 140 like division and let those girls rock it out at 140. Any other takeaways from this past weekend, dude, or just the cuts? The cuts were rough this past weekend.
Yeah, especially that Rodriguez one, man. When that was circulating back around on the internet, that artery vein, when it was popping through his fucking forehead, dude, just brutal. That dude's a savage, man.
It was rough indeed. So let's move on down to our next topic. Our fight news, our fight announcements, anything fight related. Let's talk about it. So I guess the first big one that I want to talk about is just kidding. That was the last one. Jared Cannonier versus Sean Strickland has been rebooked for December 17th. So that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I figured they try to keep that fight on because I think that, I don't want to say both fighters are in no man's land, but both of them are kind of coming off of rough losses. So, what better than to put two strikers against one another? I'm definitely all for the matchup.
And this, not next week, but the week after, Urosh Medic is out. Mike Davis will now fight Vyacheslav Borishev, a.k.a. Slava Claus. If you guys don't know who that is, Lauren's like, who the fuck is that
guy? You got not a clue. I was excited to see Urosh Medic because Urosh Medic is that dude's a savage. He goes for the finish. So disappointed not to be able to see him fight.
Dude, Slava Claus is the guy that in his like fucking debut like hit this dude with like a body shot and he like crumpled him. He like did a front flip after he hit him with
that's
the
the dude
shot.
from Contender Series, ain't it? He does like the funky dances after. Yeah. Okay, yeah. No. I know who you're talking about now. As soon as you said the body shot thing, yeah, I knew. I know the body ripper. So yeah. I knew exactly who you was talking about after you said that.
A fan of the rib roasters is old D Rose. So that's October 1st. So that's not this weekend, but the following weekend.
That's a fun fight.
Yeah, man. We got Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar. That's going to headline October 29th. Immediate thoughts on that one?
Good to finally see Arnold Allen in a main event. I know he's been talking about wanting to get active and try to fight for the title. The biggest thing for him is activity. He only fights once a year, and he's still young as well. So I know he's probably still developing his game, but good to see him, get back in there again this year and against one of the top competitors in there as well. Calvin Kattar is a savage, so I think that'll be a super fun fight.
Tough fighter altogether. So it's like he crushed Dan Hooker, but it's like, bro, Calvin Kattar is like not making that weight cut like the Dan Hooker made. So it's like it's interesting to see because we haven't seen fucking Kattar finish, like fucking Max beat the living shit out of him, and it's like he was still there fucking swinging, dude. So Kattar tough as all hell. Interesting fight. I am indeed ready for that one. So moving on down to some bigger fight news, dude, in my opinion. See that camo hat right there, right behind me, right here. That's Thug Nasty. Thug Nasty is going to be taking on Movsar Evloev November 5th, man. Immediate thoughts on this fight, dude?
I was actually surprised they ended up going with this matchup. I figured they would try to move both these guys up the division, but it almost kind of reminds me of the Martez Gamrot and Armin Tsarukyan fight where you got two young up and coming contenders and they're kind of going towards the top and they almost can't get a fight with any of the guys up at the top of the division. So they just end up fighting each other instead. But I think as far as stylistically, both of them are really good grapplers. I always kind of gave Bryce Mitchell crap because I have watched him since the Ultimate Fighter. I remember when he was on there with DC and Stipe that season, and I've always rooted for him. But his striking has always been kind of a little suspect. But I thought in that Edson Barboza fight, he really developed his wrestling, or he really developed his striking a lot more. He even dropped Edson with a big left hand as well. So I am really excited to see that fight because Movzar is one of those guys just relentlessly moves forward, relentless with his takedowns. And I want to see two guys like that who are, so grappling heavy to see how it ends up playing out overall. So it should be a super fun fight.
These Russian dudes, it's not fair. It's not fair, man. I don't even understand. It's like they just got something different that we don't have.
Yeah, and it's almost like the style of wrestling. It was one is the mentality, just because those dudes will literally go out there and die and not care. And two, I do think it's that style of wrestling where you got like the Dagestani handcuff and like those leg ties that they do to kind of hold their opponents against the fence when they got them taken down. They just do all these weird techniques and stuff to be able to keep a leg up on the competition. But I do think that Bryce Mitchell, I do think his wrestling and everything, his jiu-jitsu as well, I think is going to give Mobzar some problems. So I'm going to be super excited to see it.
I sure as hell hope so. One that just came across my screen and I chuckled just a little bit. Dusko Todorovic going to be taking on Jordan Wright, dude. As we were talking about the Beverly Hills Ninja that beat Gregory Rodriguez, dude. So we got a karate guy versus a submission guy. Interesting fight. Who you think wins that one? They both have shit for chins.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. It's almost like whoever gets hit first loses almost. And Jordan Wright, he literally he will not go to a decision to save his life. He will not go to a decision. I don't know who will win, but I know one thing is that I'd probably take the under in that fight for sure because it's not going to go to a decision.
Yeah, man. This just results from this weekend. Let me get to the new. Here we go. We got Bruno Dorian. You're not gonna fight, man. What happened? Why aren't you gonna fight Albert Duraev? What happened, dude?
Too soon. Too many injuries.
Too soon. All right, fair enough. Albert Duraev is now gonna fight Mikhail Olashejek. You know who I'm going for in that one, dude.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's
Duraev too. I mean, he had that bad loss against Buckley, dude. Olashejek, that dude is savage.
He's a little bit undersized though, to be honest.
For 185 though, he's a good size. For light heavyweight, he's undersized. For middleweight, he's a good size, especially when he's maintaining that speed. I still feel like
he's undersized when it comes to like bigger guys for 185. Like he for sure isn't a big 185.
No, I think he's not going to be the biggest, but dude, he's been able to kind of hang in there with light heavyweights. Like he fought Dustin Jacoby, guys like that. So yeah, I think he'll be able to hold his own against a lot of the middleweights.
All right, fair enough. Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Jelton Almeida has been rebooked for October 22nd, dude. So the Abu Dhabi card.
They want to make sure that Shamil Abdurakhimov gets finished on his way out the UFC again, because goodness gracious.
Yeah, I guess in our three other takeaways, real quick, before I forget about it, we got Jose Aldo retiring. We got there was one other thing. Eddie Alvarez
is a free agent.
And there was one other thing too that it's slipping my mind now.
Oh, I bet I know what it is. It's where Jermaine randomly announced she was pregnant.
No. No, that is not my other news topic. Is that true?
Yes, no, seriously.
All right.
Swear to God, she's pregnant. And the crazy part is okay, we're so far in the show, no one's probably listening at this point. And if you are, it's all jokes. Who cares? Dude, I'm super surprised. I'm not surprised that she's in a relationship with a woman. I'm surprised that she ended up being the one that ended up getting pregnant. I figured that would be more of a Nina Nunez situation where she's the fighter, so she would, flip the position. Um, but yeah, overall, I thought that was a pretty funny announcement to try to throw in there.
Just interesting, man. Just interesting. Oh, that's what it was. Contender Series guy last night. That's for sure going to be the opening of the podcast, though. Like, it's going to be like, oh, the other news topic, Doreen, she was pregnant. Everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck? who the hell cares?
I couldn't even keep a straight face when I was saying it. Like, I
That's
literally couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah, the Contender Series guy, the 17-year-old dude. I want to get your thoughts on this for just a second, because to me it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So they don't sign Bo Nickel, that has a proven college wrestling career, that came in there, finished dude early round one, not even a hitch. You won't sign Bo Nickel, but Dana White signs the 17-year-old that, I gotta be honest, didn't look the best. Had the dude's back for over 5 minutes, didn't get to finish, got a decision win. To me, didn't look impressive at all, but Dana could not sign this dude quick enough. What are we doing here? Can we explain why we didn't give the 17-year-old like a developmental contract and you made Bo Nickel go through it? Like, what could be the
Well,
thought process?
Bo Nickel's actually going to come right back on the Contender Series next week, so he's
Yeah.
going to be on the Contender Series. I think after the Contender Series, I do think that he's going to end up throwing him into the UFC. Probably throw him against a bunch of cans until he gets until he gets a lot of development. But Raul Rosas, he's already had 5 fights at this point, so I think that you can say that Bo Nickel has the more decorated background as far as being the wrestler. But I do think Raul Rosas, as far as him being a little bit more experienced in MMA, he is the more experienced fighter, and he had 5 professional bouts, which is crazy to think that a 17-year-old would have that many bouts already. But
if you
and
look
he
at
had to get a
them,
special
though,
license to get approved to fight in the Contender Series too.
if you like look at all of his fucking fights, though, it's like against a person that's like 2-1, 0-3, 0-0, like 1-1. Like, it just seems like,
Well, and I think he signs them, but I could very well see a developmental deal, coming of this, similar to what they did with Greg Hardy when they signed Greg Hardy. They had him take like a couple like regional fights. I think he fought for LFA a couple times, and then he ended up coming back and fought in the Contender Series again, and then they let him into the UFC. I could see them going a similar angle to that with Raul Rosas. I think really the more push to sign him was because you get young prospects like him, Conor McGregor, and then I'll say it for this case, even though a lot of people might not be too familiar with him, is Aaron Pico of Bellator. Aaron Pico was one of these guys that coming up, he was a wrestler, he was a boxer, he was decorated in both as an amateur, and Bellator was one of the first people to sign him when he was 18 years old. So I think for the UFC, they didn't want to miss an opportunity on a potential big star on their hands. He's 17 years old. They can develop him and do all the necessary grooming to him that they want to kind of position him in the future. So I think with him, being so young, maybe easily influenced as well, it makes for a much, I guess, for the signing to make much more sense.
I just think we've seen the Sage Northcutt shit play out already, dude. It's like the UFC isn't the place to get experience. Like, you should already be good enough to be in the UFC when you get there, and when you don't, you get Sage Northcutted, dude. You don't win. I think that's going to be the outcome for this kid, because he didn't look that good, dude. He Patty looks better than this kid did, dude. And like, I know, like you said, like, you didn't really fucking see a whole lot of it. It wasn't impressive, dude. Like, he looked good on the ground. Like, he has good jujitsu, dude, but his striking, dude, was not good at all, dude. And it's like, bro, you're going to get this kid hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess with him being 17, I don't think they're going to throw him into the. I don't think they're going to throw him
Like
into the
fucking
Lions
Sage
Den.
was what, 19, and like they, I mean,
But I think the issue with Sage, and I do get the comparison, but I really tend to wonder if Sage really has that dog in him to kind of really. Sage is too nice of a guy to be a fighter. Like he needs to be a realtor. Like he needs to do something to where he's working amongst with the people, like doing service work for people because he's too nice of a guy. Raul Rosas does seem to be a nice guy, but he does seem to have kind of that dog in him to kind of go to that place if he needs to. Even though it's early in his career right now, he's kind of tending to show that little bit of a dog in him where I didn't really see that with Sage Northcutt. So I do get what you're saying as far as the comparisons to both guys being young. I think as far as both their mindsets, I think they're both kind of a little bit on a different playing field as far as their mindsets go.
and he's at 155 too, yeah.
35.
135, dude. That's
that's a tough division. He said youngest champ ever. I'm not putting my money on that because again, we were just
bro.
talking about
The
Javid
minute,
Basharat being in the log jam. I mean, if Javid Basharat, who looks ready to be, I don't want to say looks ready to be fighting for a title. He's much further on into his career to fight for a title than where Raul is right now. So, I don't see him becoming the youngest champion ever unless he just goes through and mows through everybody. But
who's he
I
gonna?
I,
I
I
just
kind of
want to
hold my
know
breath to see.
who's he gonna fight. Even like not ranked, that's not gonna beat him, dude. 135 is really deep, man. Like I would pick Jose Quinones to fucking probably beat this guy. Like,
Nah. If you had Jose Quinones, Chris Moutinho, and a lot of times the UFC
I
can just
wouldn't.
sign these guys.
I wouldn't do Chris Moutinho because that guy just kind of just fucking walks forward and gets hit. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't do that.
but that's what I mean. The UFC is you can look at the roster now and say, hey, who do we find? The UFC always finds guys like that to make these type of matchups. As you were just talking about the matchup with Joe Piper this past weekend with Amidovsky, they know how to make these matchups when they need to have these types of matchups made.
I just feel like there's not that many of those dudes at 135 that you can, I guess, have a confident fight that guy can win, because it's like anyone that's a vet dude that's had 15 fights, I don't think they're going to lose to that guy no matter what their record is. Like
Yeah.
they're tough. They fucking know what to do. And if you fought 15 times, even if you lost 10 of them shits, you're tough enough to get back in there again, dude. So I don't know, dude. It's going to be interesting. Overall, yeah. Bo Nickel will be on Contender Series. What, this upcoming week? Yeah.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll fucking talk about that next Wednesday and make our picks for next week's show. But anything else for this week, man? Or you good?
I would say nah, man. Other than the surprise that GDR pregnancy, yeah, no, I think we're good.
All right, man. Well, if y'all are still here, the last time you'll see this fucking background here. Next week we'll have a new setup over here on my side. I'll see y'all Monday for the card video if you watch that, and see y'all next week for the podcast. Anything before we get out of here, man? Just blurry ass door.
Nah, man. Except my damn camera phasing out right when we're trying to sign off this thing.
Don't forget this, man. You still pants on the ground over there. D Rose. Matt Anderson.
I'm coming next week. I'm getting it back.
We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.